right, so let's take a look at section 3.5, day 2. In your homework tonight, you guys can see numbers 10, 11, and 16 are like last night. So on 10, 11, and 16, you are allowed to use your graphing calculator. But on 14 and 15, I would like you to use substitution. Okay, so 10, 11, and 16, do like you did last night, just shove them in your graphing calculator. But then 14 and 15, I want you to use substitution, which will require you to write some work. So let's talk about some of these again. If we have a circle with a linear function, remember the equation of a circle, you did learn this last year in geometry. It's x squared plus y squared equals r squared. Okay, where r is the radius of your circle and with the center of a 0, 0. Do you guys remember this a little bit? Oh, yeah? Okay. You don't really need to know that formula, but you should at least recognize it a little bit. Just like yesterday, if you have a circle with a line, you could have no real solution. It might be tangent. You could have one real solution, and it might intersect, in which case you would have two real solutions. So we have the exact same situation as we had yesterday. Okay? We are going to use on this one the method of substitution. So you can see for day 2, or for example 1, it says solve by method of substitution. Now, this is the exact same thing as when we did substitution with linears. So step 1, solve one of the equations for one of the variables. Is that already done for us? Yeah, which one's already done? The bottom one. Y equals what? Negative 3x plus 10. So is step 1 done for us? Yeah. Step 2, go into the other equation. And in this case, everywhere I see a what? Y, I'm going to put in what? Okay, now the only thing is, this is y squared. So what do I have to do to negative 3x plus 10? So when you square it, what do you have to do to it? Put it in. All right, so I'm going to write it like this. Okay, so I got x squared plus negative 3x plus 10 quantity squared. That was y equals 10. Is everybody okay just how I substituted that in? Now we got to clean it up with some algebra. What does it mean to square a binomial, Laura?
Whoa, Laura.
I know, Laura. What does it mean? Square a binomial. What do you have to do?
Ooh.
What's it mean? Okay, don't freak out. What's it mean to square 3?
Make it 9.
Okay, how'd you make it 9? What'd you do in your head?
3 times 3.
Okay, so what do you do with that
you foil it.
Ah, there she's got it. She's like, oh, now I get it. I gotta foil this. Okay, so I'm just gonna bring this first x squared down. So Laura, when you foil, what do you get here?
9x squared.
9x squared. What do you get here?
Negative 30x.
What do you get here?
Negative 30x.
Negative 30x. What do you get here?
100.
Plus 100 equals
10.
All right, let's clean this up. Okay? What do you get when you put these guys together?
Hold on. 10x squared.
10x squared. What do you get when you put these guys together?
Negative 60x.
And then I'm going to go ahead and subtract this over at the same time. So what do you get?
90.
Positive 90 equals
0.
0. Now remember, our goal is to solve this equation for x. We need to solve for x. Okay? This is a quadratic. You can solve this quadratic by graphing, completing the square, factoring. What else? Factoring, completing square roots, but we can't do that because of the 60x. So I'm going to tell you this has a GCF. What's your GCF, everybody? 10. Now, guys, Miss Burns and I had this conversation. If you were just factoring this expression, you cannot divide by 10. You could factor out a 10 and keep it outside of your parentheses. But since this is an equation, you are allowed to divide by 10 because whatever you do to one side, you do to the other. So that's why we're allowed to divide as long as you do it to everything. You can't do the division if you only have an expression. Okay, so what do I get here? X squared minus 6x. You got a question, Don? You're done? Speedy Gonzalez. All right, back to that. Okay, let me double check it real quick. Okay, super. Do you want to go back to study hall?
Sure.
Okay, I'll write your pass. All right, what question did you guys ask yourself on this one?
What multiplies the third? Yep. 9 adds to give you -6.
Multiplies 9, adds to give you -6. What did you guys come up with? What did you guys come up with? Negative what? 3 and? Thanks, honey. -3. All right. So what does this factor into? X minus 3 and equals 0. Now, when we solve this, you set each piece equal to 0. What's this one give you? What's this one give you? Same thing. So what's X equal? 3. You are not done. This one only has how many solutions? 1. But the solution is the point X, Y, where this intersects. Remember, when you did linears, the solution was the point X, Y, where it intersected. Okay? So, this isn't anybody's back. It was back, Josh, by you. It's not yours, is it? Left it over lunch from yesterday. Okay. So, now that we've found X, what do we have to do for step 3? Find what? Y. Well, what do we know about Y? It's -3 times X. Well, what was X again? 3. So, -3 times 3 plus 10. So, that's -9 plus 10. So, what's Y? 1. So, it's the point, what? 3, 1. No negative. 3, 1. So this one had how many solutions? 1. 2. 1. 1 solution. All right. Questions on example 1. All right. Well, let's look at example 2. Again, solve with substitution. Is step 1 done? Which one's already solved for us? The bottom one. So what do we know? Y equals what? Okay, Y equals X plus 4. Step 2. Go into the other equation, and everywhere you see a what? Y, you're going to put in all of this. So when I do, I get X squared plus, now what do I have to do with that X plus 4? Has to be in what? Parentheses. And you have to square it. So how many times do I write it? Twice. So I get X squared, X plus 4, X plus 4. Landon, what do I do to solve this one? Or what do you do when you FOIL that? What do you get?
X squared plus 4x plus 4x plus 16.
Okay, what do you get when you put these guys together?
2x squared.
What do you get when you put these guys together?
8x
Okay, bring the 4 over. What do you get?
plus 12.
Plus 12 equals.
0.
Is everybody good with how I've gotten to this step? Because we went a little fast there. Okay, what do you do now, Landon? What could you do to make life a little easier?
You find out what multiplies 3 and 12.
Well, be careful, it's
Oh, no,
A1.
GCF, GCF.
Okay, so what's your GCF?
2.
So we're going to divide everything by,
2.
when you do, what do you get?
X squared plus 4x plus 6.
Okay. And now we're going to ask ourselves what multiplies to give us what?
6.
And adds to give us 4. Okay, what multiplies to give us 6 and adds to give us 4? Well, what multiplies to give you 6? 3 and 2 and 6 and 1. Do any of those work? No. Okay, well, you could, because it could be irrational. Just because, okay, not every solution factors. It could be an irrational number, 2 plus or minus square root of 3. Okay, so we do have to check it and see. So how else could we check this? We could use the quadratic formula. So watch. Now watch. What's A? What's B? What's C? Negative 4 plus or minus square root of what? 4 squared minus 4 times 6 all over 2 times 1, which is 2. Guys, what happens to your radicand? That's the number underneath the radical sign. What is 4 squared? That's 16. Minus 4 times 1 times 6. That's 16 minus 24. What do you get under the radical sign? A negative. What's that mean? No real solution. So this is a no real solution problem. So when you get a negative under the radicand, you have no real solution. Now, it could have been just plus or minus the square root of 8, in which case you could keep going. 2 squared of 2, break it up, and you could keep going. Okay, so you can have irrational numbers. You just, but you can't have a negative under the radical. Okay, questions? What do you guys think? They're not too bad. All right, last one. Step 1. This is the hardest one. Step 1. Okay, we've covered one solution and we covered no solution. So what do you think this one's going to be? All right, let's see how this works. Step 1. Is it done for you? Step 2. You're going to go into the other equation, and everywhere y'all see a what? A y. You're going to plug in that. So when I do, Ethan, wake up. Over here, what do you guys get? X squared plus x plus 2 squared equals what? 20. Okay? Karina, what are you going to do with x plus 2 quantities squared?
Just x plus 2 and then x plus 2.
So foil it. And when you foil, Karina, what do you get here?
X squared plus 2x.
Oh, wait a minute. X squared plus what's x times x?
I mean x squared.
There you go. X squared. Now plus what?
2x.
I see what you were doing. Yeah, I see what you were doing. Okay. Then plus what?
2x.
Plus
4.
equals. Don't forget the x squared that was out front. Okay. Now when you put these guys together, what do you get?
2x squared.
2x squared plus.
4x plus 4 equals 20.
Okay, but you have to do what?
Oh, minus.
And what do you get?
Negative 16.
Negative 16 equals 0. What are you guys going to do now? What do you want to do now?
Divide by 2.
Divide everything by 2. Just makes it easier. You don't have to. You could use a quadratic formula with those numbers, but man, is it easier to do this. Because now, I'm going to call this something different. Kaden, what question are you going to ask yourself?
What multiplies to x?
Careful, multiplies to
Negative
and adds to.
2.
They're so loud. Did that help the other day when you guys were taking your test and I put the fan on? Did you guys even notice that?
Yeah, I like
I
white
know
noise.
this.
Did you notice it?
I like white noise.
Did it help?
Yeah. How do you like white
They're
noise?
so loud down there.
White noise.
I turned the fan on for some white noise because they 8th graders were so loud downstairs. Okay, what'd you guys get? What'd you get, Caden?
4 negative 2.
Positive. Makes me say bad words in my head. Positive 4 and negative 2. Do those multiply together to give me negative 8 and add together to give me positive 2? What do you think? Yes. Okay, so Caden, what did this factor into?
X plus 4 times x minus 2.
So when you set each of these equal to 0, what's this one give you?
Negative 4.
And what's this one give you?
2.
Here's the biggest mistake that you guys make. How many solutions are there? How many times do you have to put x back into y? Twice. You have 2 solutions. One of them is negative 4 something. One of them is 2 something. So you have to put this back into the y equals, which what did y equals? Y equaled what? X plus 2. So when you plugged this one in, you plugged in what? What's negative 4 plus 2? So here's your first solution. Now, when you plug in this one, you plug in what? 2 plus 2. What's 2 plus 2?
4.
Here's your second solution. Do you guys see how we did that? You have to plug it in twice. Because there's 2 x values that you could have there. Because it intersected here and here. So you got to find both of those values. Okay? All right. Rest of class time. Now, guys, 10, 11, and 16 are with what? Calculator. 14 and 15, you have to show me what? So it's too short.